At the heart of sustainable mountain development is the well-being of local communities, local people, local societies. The focus is on the mountain specificities where there are opportunities as well as challenges. How do we reach the future we want? Where and how do we involve the communities, government, the private sector? There are a multitude of stakeholders, of partners, and it's these partnerships coming together for a common purpose of improving the well-being of people's situation, preserving the environment, and attaining an equitable, fair, and prosperous future. These are the pieces at the heart of SMD, or Sustainable Mountain Development. And a critical issue, as said, is partnerships. Who do you work with? Who has a voice? How do we come together towards these goals? So it's an exciting and challenging prospect to attain this future that we want. But again, there are so many unique opportunities and so many resources in the mountains. Natural resources, cultural resources, new economic opportunities, and working together towards these purposes is both, yes, the exciting and the challenging nature of mountain development.
In the last 500 years, is from the age of discovery.
Sustainable mountain development, to me, means life. I mean, this is something where the communities, the people, the species, our very survival is around mountains. And as the saying goes, we all live downstream. So what sustainable development means, it provides us these ecosystem services, water, climate regulation services, it provides us forests, it provides us clean air, biodiversity, elements that are very vital for our very existence.
Well, mountains on their own sustain very well. The issue comes only when human beings come in the picture. So for me, sustainable mountain development is when human beings live in harmony with the mountain environment, understand the mountains through their education system so that each one has a feeling for them and not just information, and then nurtures it, takes stewardship of it through their actions.
Countries should ensure that the laws and the activities in the mountainous areas conform with what we agreed in the Sustainable Development Goals. For example, most mountainous areas are water towers. This is where most of the water comes from. These are forested areas. They are also rich in soils. They are food baskets. So these ecosystems should be protected and utilized in a manner such that all these resources provide for the current generation and the generations to come.
It's also not just people in the mountains who have to take stewardship of the mountains. It's also the metropolises that very much depend on the mountains for their water and so many other things with nature. And their living will affect the mountains. And that's why I always say people in the big cities should live simply so that we in the mountains can simply live.
As we advance together sustainable mountain development, focusing on the unique realities of mountain regions, we do have to be very clear that some of these realities are challenging. Climate change is happening more rapidly in the mountains, and we need to engage with this. We need to see how communities, how societies can adapt, and what new opportunities are arriving. Also, what safeguards need to be put in place, what new mountain hazards may be affecting people's lives, and to reduce these. So addressing the realities of mountains with climate change and with market challenges from globalization, as well as opportunities with value chains that could bring benefits surrounding niche mountain products. All of these need to be considered in a holistic manner with all the right players, aiming to achieve the future we desire.
We can certify ourselves.
To me, sustainable mountain development is about three things. First is about taking action for the people that live in mountains and addressing issues of poverty and food insecurity. Second is about taking action to protect fragile ecosystems, since mountains are especially sensitive to climate change. And third is about taking action to implement the Sustainable Development Goals. Mountains are the perfect space for us to think in terms of interlinkages and especially in terms of upstream and downstream effects.
For me, the sustainable development of mountains is actually the understanding of its different components. For example, its biodiversity, the opportunities that it provides to us, for example, agriculture, and also for me, the understanding of the communities that are based on the mountains, such as indigenous communities that usually are forgotten in the upper areas.
Livestock, but not food.
Why sustainable mountain development is so important? Difference is maybe it's sustainable development concept can be applicable or can be applied on mountain ecosystems, but we have to take into consideration vulnerability of a mountain ecosystem and vulnerability of the communities living in this ecosystem. So that's why I believe that we have to find our way of dealing with the challenges what we are facing in modern time.
The World Mountain Forum is an extraordinary opportunity to bring together so many colleagues from the global community across sectors and across areas of engagement, from civil society to communities to government to the private sector. And we come together to discuss and learn from each other, from best experiences, challenges met along the way, lessons learned, and to exchange and cross-fertilize ideas. So this Mountain Forum brings us together to face the larger world, not just our situation, for example, in Kyrgyzstan or Central Asia, but learn from South America, learn from the African situation. And we can bring this message to the world to advance the recognition of needs and values of mountain regions into the global dialogues. Downstream communities depend on the mountain resources as much as local communities, and therefore these partnerships are to be enhanced and strengthened so that together we can reach the goals we want and a future of well-being in equitable ways.